Behind the dusty glass of an old museum in Florida sits a doll that looks ordinary, but those who've stared into its eyes know it stares back. This isn't just a doll, it's a curse. My name is Clara. I laughed when I first saw Robert. Now, I hear him whisper my name every time I close my eyes. And you, watching this, don't say I didn't warn you. After months of renovation, the East Martello Museum in Florida reopened. Clara, a university anthropology student, started her summer internship there. She had no idea her assignment would lead her to the museum's most cursed exhibit, Robert the Doll. On her first day, Clara walked the halls eagerly, but she paused in front of a dusty glass case. Inside sat an old sailor doll, surrounded by hundreds of handwritten letters, some opened, some folded, as if read or guarded. She picked one up. "I'm sorry, Robert. I didn't know taking your picture without asking would ruin my life. Since that day, I lost my job, my car burned down, and my partner left me. Please, make it stop." Clara chuckled. "A bit dramatic," she muttered. Then the lights flickered. The air turned cold. She turned and locked eyes with Robert. For a moment, it felt like he was staring back. That night, in her dorm room, Clara heard a faint tap on the window. She looked. No one was there. But on the ground, a letter, written in red ink, just one sentence. "You didn't ask permission." Clara didn't sleep at all. The red letter was tucked away in a drawer. The strange message on her phone had vanished, but the uneasy feeling lingered. The next morning, she returned to the museum trying to keep her cool, but something was off. Robert was no longer in the same position. His hand had shifted, his head slightly tilted. He now stared directly at the CCTV camera. Clara asked Mr. Henley, the night guard, a man who had worked there for over 20 years. "Clara, did someone move the doll yesterday?" Henley, staring blankly. "We don't touch him. No one does, not even me." Mr. Henley leaned in close and whispered, "Henley, years ago, a tourist touched the glass without asking. A week later, they found him dead in his hotel room. On his left hand, the words, 'Forgive me,' were carved with a nail." Clara laughed nervously, dismissing it as just a creepy story. But back at the exhibit, the CCTV feed glitched. She rebooted the system. When the screen came back, the camera pointing at Robert's case showed the impossible. Robert was gone. She ran down the hall to the display room. When she arrived, Robert was back, sitting perfectly still. But this time, a new letter sat under the glass. It read, "You laughed at me." Since the CCTV incident, Clara's behavior changed. She started talking to herself without realizing it. She constantly felt a presence behind her. But the worst part, she began to feel like someone was living with her. At first, just soft noises at night. Then cups moved by themselves. Then Clara found a foggy image of Robert's face on her bathroom mirror, like a breath print. She confided in her roommate, Mia. "Clara, I know it sounds crazy, but I think he's here in my room. MIA. You need rest. You're just overtired." That night, Mia recorded Clara sleeping. The next morning, Mia was pale. "Mia, Clara, you were talking in your sleep, but it wasn't your voice, and you said the name Robert over and over." Clara watched the video. She was indeed asleep, yet her lips moved. From the speaker came a raspy, childlike voice. "Don't leave me, Clara. We're friends now." She screamed and threw her phone. When she bent to pick it up, there were chalk drawings under her bed. rough stick figures of a girl and a doll holding hands. Mia vanished without a trace. Clara reported her missing, but the police claimed she probably ran away. Clara knew better. Mia would never leave her things behind, or that doll. Desperate, Clara dove into Robert's history. She found an old journal from Eugene Otto, Robert's first owner, in the early 1900s. Inside the dusty journal, Eugene wrote, "Robert is not just a doll. He's a friend given to me by a servant who was fired. She told me he'll stay with you forever." Eugene described footsteps at night, soft laughter, and broken objects without cause. It all mirrored Clara's current experience, but one sentence made Clara freeze. Never stare into his eyes for too long. Behind them, he waits for a new body. Clara closed the journal shaking. That night she returned to the museum, determined to face him. But when she got to the case, someone had written across the glass 2 words scratched in Shaker handwriting, greater than "look at me." Clara held her breath, and without meaning to, she stared directly into Robert's eyes. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then her vision blurred. A child's voice whispered in her ears, and in the reflection on the glass, she no longer saw herself. She saw Robert. In the days that followed, Clara began losing time. She would wake up in strange places. Her hands were covered in markings. And she started hearing a voice, not around her, but inside her head. "Just borrowing your body." Clara documented every lost moment in a notebook. A chilling pattern emerged. Each time she blacked out, Robert had shifted slightly in his display case, as if drawing closer. Mr. Henley confronted her. He played CCTV footage from the previous night. It showed Clara walking alone into the Robert exhibit after hours. But the terrifying part? She was speaking in a child's voice. Clara, on tape. "I told you, she's mine now." Clara had no memory of that, but she now felt her body wasn't fully her own. She saw flashes of Robert's face, in mirrors, on her phone screen, even in her own shadow. One night, Clara collapsed in the bathroom. When she came to, her hand was clutching an old sewing needle, and carved into her arm, "Get out! This is mine!" Clara finally understood. Robert doesn't want to be locked in a glass case. He wants a body, and he's chosen Clara as his new vessel. Still barely in control, Clara, haunted by Robert's voice in her head, finds a name in Eugene Otto's journal. Annalise, Eugene's cousin, the only living witness to his mental breakdown. Clara tracks her down and is shocked to learn Annalise is still alive. Now 97, she resides in a remote nursing home. Clara visits her. "Annalise, you came because of the doll, didn't you?" Clara, silent. Annalise, "He never left. He only sleeps until someone is weak enough to let him back in." Annalise reveals that Eugene was Robert's vessel for decades, slowly losing himself until he died seated in front of the doll's case, eyes locked with Robert's, whispering into the glass. "Annalise, there is one way to sever the bond, but it comes with a price." Clara presses her. "Annalise, burn the thread, the first needle, and your own blood must be spilled on the ground where he was first gifted." Clara realizes what she must do. Return to Eugene's childhood home in Key West, Florida, where Robert was first created and cursed. But on her way back from the nursing home, Robert speaks clearly, forcefully, from inside her mind. "I know where you're going, and I'll kill everyone before you get there." Clara steps into Eugene Otto's abandoned house, dark, moldy, and heavy with dread. In the attic, she finds remnants of a ritual circle, fragments of old dolls, frayed red thread, a rusted needle. On the wall, Robert's image, scratched over and over. She prepares the ritual Annalisa described. Burn the original thread, pierce the first needle, spill her blood into the center. As the fire ignites, Robert appears, not the doll, but Clara herself, a twisted version of her, smiling eerily, black-eyed, walking like a puppet. Robert, in Clara's body. This body is mine now, you're just a guest. The final battle begins, inside her mind. While her body moves uncontrollably, she sees Robert's memories, being brought to life by a voodoo servant, being yelled at by young Eugene, being locked away for years, growing hatred. Clara realizes Robert never wanted a friend. He wanted immortality. Clara throws herself into the ritual circle, lighting it in flames. Clara, if you want this body, then we burn together. Robert screams from inside her. Mirrors shatter. Dolls burst. Clara collapses in the flames. 3 months after the Eugene Otto house fire, Clara is found alive with minor burns and partial amnesia. She's placed in a psychiatric hospital under strict observation. Doctors note signs of dissociative identity and obsessive tendencies, especially involving dolls and old fabrics. Strangely, she never mentions Robert, but at night, she sleep talks in a child's voice. Audio log. I like it here. So many empty bodies. Staff begin to worry. Other patients suffer from sleep paralysis, night terrors, and unexplainable episodes, all centered around Clara's ward. One nurse, Alia, keeps an eye on Clara's habits, stitching red thread into cloth, whispering a name no one recognizes, Ginevra. When Alia sneaks into Clara's room one night, she finds something disturbing. A new doll. Its face resembles Clara, but the eyes are unmistakably Robert's. A young investigative journalist named Davin is looking into the strange fire at the Otto residence and the bizarre incidents at the psychiatric hospital where Clara was held. He has a personal reason. His older brother was one of the patients affected. While digging through old archives and the private collection at the Key West Museum, Davin uncovers a hidden bundle of unopened letters, all addressed to Eugene Otto from the family's former maid, a woman named Melania Duval. The letters reveal that Melania was a voodoo practitioner brought from Haiti. She was mistreated by the Otto family and worked under abusive conditions. To punish young Eugene, who tortured animals and broke toys, she bound a vengeful spirit into his birthday doll, Robert. One of the final letters reads, "You made a monster of your child. I simply gave it form." Meanwhile, at the asylum, Clara has vanished. Security footage fails. Doors show no signs of entry. But in her room lies one thing, a letter written in the same hand as Melania, even though she's been dead for nearly a century. Davin starts having vivid, violent dreams. He's trapped in a room of dolls, all watching him, all whispering in a language he doesn't understand. He begins losing time. Hours vanish, and security footage shows him blankly smiling in an antique shop, buying a faceless, broken doll. That doll now sits in his apartment, and every night, its face changes. Slowly, it becomes his own. Desperate, Davin seeks out Alia, the nurse from the asylum. She reveals she's been investigating since Clara disappeared. From the remnants of Clara's doll, they find her blood and hair, and a strand of red thread dating back to Eugene Otto's time. Alia, you're not the cursed one, you're the successor. Their final lead takes them to the ruins of Melania Duval's childhood home in New Orleans. There, they attempt to burn the doll and perform an ancient sealing ritual. But as the flames grow, Clara appears. But she's no longer Clara. Her skin is pale, eyes glazed, and her voice is layered, her own and a child's. Clara Robert, you can destroy the doll, but I no longer need it. I've found a better body. Davin looks at his bleeding hand. His blood drips onto the ritual circle. He realizes the curse isn't about dolls anymore. It's about flesh, names, legacy, and he's already been claimed.